Well, it's another beautiful day here in South Africa. The weather is fine, almost as good as the wine. And guess where we are today? We are at the Bosman Family Vineyards, going to get a lot more history behind the production of wine, what makes their wine unique, what makes it special, and why you should patronize South Africa wines. So join us. Let's take a look inside the Bosman Family Vineyards.
Lucky enough to go to Kenya last year, and it was the first time I'd actually been sort of past southern Africa. I've been to all the Zambia, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, all that, but the first time I got to go further north, and it blew my mind. I was so excited to be there and to meet so many amazing people. And I met a lady who had a wine shop in Nairobi, and she said to me that Africans don't choose wine because they don't think of it as local. They think of it as something foreign. And somehow beer is not seen as foreign. But here you are in Africa at a wine farm. So I think there's really an opportunity to promote it as something that's African. I don't know if it's seen like that at all, because I think the sort of initial promotion of wine would have been French or European for you. But anyway, we are at the bottom of Africa. We arrived here, the first, this farm was established in 1699 by the French Huguenots, so we do have a French heritage. But the first Bosman to arrive in South Africa was in 1707. And he was the cicatrister, that's an Afrikaans word, and it's basically the sort of the social worker for the whole of the Drakensberg community. So Drakensberg goes all the way from Franschhoek all the way to here. So he was employed to look after everybody here. And they actually didn't have a pastor. The pastor was for the first 10 years he just did that. He did the sermons, he did the Sunday school, he taught the children how to read and write. And he was, so he must have been very busy. And I mean, if you think of it, he only had a horse, so it was quite a long way for him to go. The baseline wines are Generation 8, and they are single varietal wines, and they all come from Wellington. So they express Wellington, and they express their varietal, Chenin, Shiraz, Cabernet, whatever. And then the next level up is the Adamas that you're going to taste now. Those are blends. We've got a red blend and a white blend. And the idea behind that is that we're better together. You like it? Yeah. I like it too. So we're better together. So the blend is worth more than the sum of its parts. How long have you been doing this job?
Since 1995.
95, okay. And what do you actually do?
On the farm,
Yes.
I'm an assistant manager in the nursery.
Okay,
I do all the plant improvement inspections.
inspections, yes. And then as part of the Bosman Adama business, what is your title?
Assistant manager.
No.
On the
the
Bosman
figure.
Adama
Yeah.
side, I'm a director in the business,
Yes.
and also the chairman of the Adama Apollo Trust.
Okay, and what does that do? What does the Adama Apollo Trust do?
The Adama Apollo Trust is the shareholding inside the Bosman Adama, where we as workers have a 26% share in the business.
So, on this farm, if you put up your hand and say, I want to work in an office, or I want to work in the nursery, or I want to be in management, then there's opportunity for you. And the whole community takes you accountable and management accountable.
As the tour progresses, we're constantly being introduced to more fascinating ranges of wine. Absolutely beautiful. Now, Perderberg has been in existence since 1941, and so you can attest to the quality of wines that they produce. There's richness in the story behind the production, and of course, the family history is everything to compel you to purchase and to patronize wines. We're here at Perderberg. We're going into their cellar. They have an amazing cellar, of course, with such a huge capacity. And so let's get in there and let's find out more about Perderberg wines.
We are free winemakers. We have a winemaker in the white wine cellar that does about 14 to 15,000 tons. A winemaker in the red wine cellar, almost the same. And then I'm in the, let's call it the boutique winery, where we focus on all the top quality wines and the top quality grapes. It's about 1,000 tons. So about 600 tons white and 400 tons red. Perderberg are well known for in the area where we are, which is mostly dryland area. So we really try to focus here on the top sites in this area, the Parel, Swartland region. The uniqueness of it is the fact that you don't have a lot of water, so obviously your yield is much lower than in the yielded of the areas where you are irrigation, where there is irrigation in the vineyards. So yeah, obviously the varieties that does well here is Chenin Blanc, Cinsault, Grenache Noir, Pinotage, Shiraz as well. The Cabernet we bought in from Stellenbosch, so more the cooler region, Stellenbosch, Darling, D'Urberville. So we try to get about 10 degrees Celsius here, 10 to 12. In there, 15 to 18.
Okay, is that reason why?
Yeah, so white wines, we also ferment here, so we need to get it cooler as well. And with the red wines, it needs to go through malolactic fermentation. So you don't want the temperature to be too low. Otherwise, it struggles to go through malolactic fermentation. But throughout the year, if that's done, we mature it. The temperature is about 15 to 18. We try to maintain it there. So the first four on that side, the small ones, are made from terracotta. Terracotta, and this is ceramic. The difference between the two is the terracotta leaves more oxygen. So the oxygen intake from the terracotta is higher than the ceramic.
So we have a series of over 30 wine grape producers as part of our company who has shares in the company, and they deliver their grapes to our cellar, which they then use in our wines to create the Perderberg branded wines. And yes, then we also have certain brands that we go and source grapes for them specifically.
We have the systems in place at the top where we make sure that from step one, we focus on the quality, make sure we have clean juice, the fermentation temperature and the tempo of fermentation is ideal. So, yeah, you need to keep your hand on it, but it's hard work, but it's nice. So, yeah, this is one part of the white wine cellar, and then there's another one, and then the red wine cellar is obviously a lot bigger, so we can go there as well. Like the barrels, the big cellar doesn't have barrels, but these are where the wines are matured. In the cement tanks. We have two of these cellars, this one, and at the other side there's another cellar like this. So we store the wines here. The wines will undergo malolactic fermentation, blending, storing, everything is in this cellar. And the most important thing about wine is it's like food, it can be easily spoiled. So from a winemaking perspective, it's very important to make sure that your wines are healthy and full and the sulfur levels are.
So we came up with this wine, which it has all the characteristics of a dry red wine, but it's just got a little bit of added residual sugar, just to make it a little bit more palatable for somebody who's moving from drinking sweet wines and wants to explore drier wines. So that was our whole. It's not classified as a semi-sweet wine, not at all. I would say the Americans got a nice term for it. It's Apothic. So Apothic is that kind of just a little bit sweeter than a dry wine, right? Or Perderberg mountain right behind the cellar. And where the mountain got its name was in the 17th century when the Dutch came to the Cape for the first time. Obviously, coming from Europe, have never seen a zebra in their life. So when they got here, they saw the zebra running on the mountain and they thought they were wild horses. And that's why they called the mountain Horse Mountain, or Perderberg. Paard being the Dutch name for a horse. And that's where we got our name. And now the zebra is our spirit animal. So you'll see us a lot of times in the market when people go out to the shelves or to the wine shops. They'll go out and they'll say, I want the one with the zebra. So we're known now as the one with the zebra.
Whenever you hear the name Ernie Els, your mind goes straight to an 18-hole golf course. Yes, I'm talking about Ernest Theodore Els, the most famous golfer out of the African continent. Guess what? Today we're not discussing golf, we're discussing wine. I'm here at the Ernie Els Winery, a beautiful estate producing some of the most amazing wine you could ever taste out there. We're going to go straight into the winery, get conversational, engage the staff here, and get to learn about the production processes and, of course, the range of wines produced here at Ernie Els. So, be my guest. Join me.
It's quite, some would say, intense, but I think it's beautiful. It marks the structure of our wines, and because we're quite high up, quite high elevated, alongside the mountain, we're about ranging between 170 and 250 meters above sea level, and we are faced with a lot of the cold summer winds and cold winter winds. So now it's a lovely, beautiful hot day, and we're all wanting to drink white wines, and this beautiful Chenin Blanc is part of our Big Easy range. But usually it is quite cold up here, and that's why we are able to get such beautiful structured Cabernet Sauvignon, not overripe, not jammy, but rather your austere, more flinty, more graphite elegance. The only difference is that Shiraz is present in that blend, whereas the signature is purely Cabernet focused, Cab, Merlot, Petit Verdot, Malbec, and Cab Franc. That's the blend as well, but then we add Shiraz to that as well.
Big Easy range. Obviously, I'm in marketing and also in sales as brand manager, so we are all over with our Big Easy range, but Red Blend and our major Big Easy Cabernet Sauvignon. It's often underrated, but that's the first red that you tried. It's got that subtle hint of Cinsault in it, so it's a bit lighter. The two of them work really well. So we see a lot of golf courses, a lot of restaurants, locally and internationally as well. It's a good starter wine. It's also great as an easy drinking, lighter style wine, or for example, for hot weather today, we're still able to enjoy the red blends without it being too overwhelming, or wine bars without a heavy meal with it. Heavier meals, and for those that are fine dining, we obviously Major Series and our Signature. They're the the big ones that we see in there. But Big Easy ranges are our subtle starter, entry level market. About a pallet back, we've got a Vinotique, so we do keep a pallet back additionally to the Vinotique. Our Vinotique is run by our tasting room, so we do offer a range of older vintages that we will take a look at later that are available to order through the restaurants, often recommended with a meal, or our chef likes to pull a signature or proprietors, one of the older aged wines out to accompany a meal. We obviously do decant them in the restaurant as well. It's needed to get a bit of air in there, give you the elevated experience, but it's great that we've got that program in place, that going forward we've got a backlog to bring out these wines, because Signature is designed to last a good 10 years. Spending time here, reading through the books, and that's what this entire wine library is about. Spending some afternoons here, especially in winter time when the fire's going, but just as nice in summertime with our beautiful terrace, sipping on some wine and reading through our books. Each book was handpicked by him just to be on our shelves, as was the artwork around here. So we've got all sorts picked by him, and he's really quite invested in what's in our tasting room as well as how we display it as well. We've also got terracotta pots, which we do experiment with, and our clay pots, our clay eggs, concrete eggs at the bottom here. And then we've got our beautiful compass that I mentioned earlier. So we've added this compass just as a nice touch. It really shows our position in Stellenbosch, our logo. This is our old variation of our logo, but showing where we are positioned east. Obviously the beautiful, those are our vineyards out there. It extends all the way through to our restaurant as well, so getting the full length of the winery. And what's interesting, if you look at our the EE, it's our classic old Ernie logo. The E being the Ernie Als. And then the T, if you see the hidden T in the middle, Ernie's name is Ernie Theodore Als. So that's a nice little hidden thing that we found there, but it's nice to have something that really represents where we are. These are our snippets of the ground. So this was our soil, our oak leaf soils that we do have. This is an accurate representation. It was an art installation done to represent our soils.
These fermentation vessels are also cement, just like the eggs that we saw, and they're called nicovellas. So each vessel actually holds 3.7 tons, and we're able to make 1 terracotta out of each vessel, and it actually gets pressed, and all of the wine that's left in the skins will come out, and we keep it separate, and then we're able to assess, how much tannins, how much expression is in the free run wine versus the press wine, which is quite interesting.
Every aspect of this entire building, the whole rebuild, was designed just to highlight what we do, and there's extra thought out. The layout, the little touches, the details. You'll find our logo interspersed in small little spaces. We spared no expense just to make sure that the experience is luxury and well-deserving of exceptional wines.
Having distinguished himself in the game or in the world of golf, the man has translated same professionalism, same elegance, same class into the wine industry. And today he produces some of the finest wines that you could ever come across. Talk about the Chardonnay, the Sauvignon Blanc, just name the variety, and he has it. Producing right here in South Africa. This is the Else Winery, and we are wrapping up, signing off from here, but we're not done. I'm going to see if I can tee off and then go get dinner, but it's been a beautiful day as usual, and we are privileged to be here on a tour of the winelands of South Africa kind courtesy wines of South Africa.